From Craig Rolson in Europe, David Gerber in Brazil, and our editor-in-chief and publisher, Don Oshman, it's time for this week's Sunday Night Week in Review.
Good evening. Once again, it's time for the HydeNet Sunday Night Week in Review video. My name is Don Oshman, editor-in-chief and publisher of HydeNet Publications. Sorry we couldn't get this report out last week, but we were in Shanghai at the All China Leather Exhibition, ACLE, and which was a very, very interesting show. But in China, we all forget it's still a communist country, and they control what you can put on YouTube or that matter, Facebook or things like that. So we couldn't do anything from Shanghai while we were there. But we're back, got back last night, and glad to be home as always. It's a travel season for everybody in our trade with MyCam. I was in Milan last week. The former Bologna show is in Milan this next week. In Shanghai was next week, and the following week I think is the Semaine de Cuir in Paris. With other little shows in between, it goes on and on and on. But 'tis the season, as they say. Anyway, in Europe, Craig Rolson reported that everybody's back on vacation. Craig Rolson reported that how things went in MyCam and MyPel in Milan, and very interesting report on that, what was seen, what the atmosphere was, what the end result was. Also out of Italy, there's a story on Consiglio Ghiata, which closed up in Italy over the holidays. Also, the UK Irish hides got a better reception in China than they did in Italy. Also, the UK Irish market is not high and not strong. Everything else is generally about steady since vacation started in July. So there's no great shakes going on. It's just steady with, again, late spring or early summer. No changes there. The Chinese seem to be the big buyers of German cows as opposed to Italy, which was heartening for the producers who wanted to sell some. Veal skins, they're still good, but not as hot as they were. Part of this is due to, we learned when we were in Shanghai that the upper echelon of luxurious purse buyer is a little more sophisticated before. They've already got how many of these purses, and now they're looking for something different and something new. So, and of course they had a crackdown on all of the corruption going on, and a lot of those corrupted families, you might say, or the father was corrupt and taking money on the side and could buy his wife anything they want. Well, they've cracked down so hard. This has affected some of the luxury business in China and also everything in China. In fact, some people who seem to be in the know more than I am said the 7.5% growth rate there is really more like 5%. But you can't exactly trust everything you read about those numbers. I don't know, but I can believe it. The crackdown in the economy on the officials who had all this money to spend is trickling down, crackdown, if you will. Also, Craig reports on lamb, sheep, fellmongerings in China are basically defunct. A few have moved away, but essentially that industry is just, nothing's going on. They're not starting up. They've not solved their pollution area problems. And somebody told us that the business is so bad it doesn't matter in lamb and sheep. And some people, I think I also found out or learned or heard, were speculating, were piling up skins if possible, because for a leather making item, they are too cheap. So Craig reports on that. And wool on skins, however, are better, a bit better. More information, and Craig talks about why the markets are where they are. That's in the European report. In our North American report this week, fireworks, okay? Make lack of a better word. Heavy Texas steers moved up $2, which was astounding to everybody. And blew past the previous levels received in Hong Kong, which was in late March or early April. So Texas butt-bearded steers, heavy native steers are $1 and more over the highs reached in Hong Kong. Amazing. And a lot of people in China, in Shanghai, a lot of producers simply turned down bids because they didn't have the highs. They're that well sold, especially on the most popular selections. The cow sector is just about steady, a little bit better than it was, but nothing, no great shakes. In Shanghai also, the United States Hide Skin Leather Association presented their new standards for hides. So new nomenclature, new trimming, not really trimming, but new standards for exports of American hides. That's available on the HideNet.com website for all that are interested. Also, the big news in America this week, in addition to record prices for steers, was the export figures that showed a credit or a cancellation or adjustment. Wet blue sales minus 220,000 pieces. Nobody can understand it. Nobody knows what's going on. The USDA report also showed adjustments or corrections in other countries as well, like everything didn't happen in this 1 week. So the USDA, for some reason, is adjusting their numbers downward because they must have found some errors. We'll know more about that next week, and we're trying to reach them. We tried to reach them last week from Shanghai and couldn't, but there's got to be a story behind this because the numbers just don't make sense. I mean, it could be that the numbers are where they are, but it didn't happen all in 1 week. We'll find out in the future and let you know. Also, combined outstanding wet blue and raw hides were down 18%, in part because of this correction from the USDA on wet blue hides. Slaughter exceeded sales again this week. This is like 8 or 7 out of the last 9 weeks. It's amazing. Some more unusual or suspect numbers from the USDA. And shipments were above slaughter. Shipments it seems to be okay. And then we have a detailed report on the Shanghai Fair for all of you who weren't there. And maybe if you were there, we might have had a different perspective than you did. In Latin America this week, prices went up again in Brazil. Everybody is incredulous. Fresh green prices set a new record, as did wet blue as a result. Now tanners are asking as much as $2.15 a kilo for TR1 because they had to pay another 5 cents a kilo on their fresh green hides. It's $1.55, I think, or something like that now. And everybody's incredulous, but there's such demand to the abattoirs, they're controlling the market, and the tanner who needs to buy raw material for his wet blue has to pay the piper, or pay the tanner as it will. Pay the packer as it will. Argentine prices went up as well. Also, everybody's amazed at that. And there's also the MyCam report from Italy, from the Brazilian perspective, and the Shanghai Leather Fair report from the Brazilian perspective as well. So that's it for tonight. Thank you very much for watching. Free trial, yours for the asking, at www.hidenet.com. Can you afford to be without it? Thanks again for watching. See you next week.